Imagine you're standing in front of your vent, you're freezing, and you hear the furnace kick on, but it's just blowing out this freezing cold air.
Oh, yeah. That is literally the worst feeling in the middle of winter.
Right. Your house is actively getting colder while the system is running. So welcome to today's deep dive. We are going to decode this exact problem because cold air from a heat vent isn't the diagnosis, right? It's really just a symptom.
Exactly. It's a symptom. And we are going to walk you through the exact troubleshooting steps today. We'll start from a literal 1-minute fix you can do yourself, all the way up to complex system lockouts.
And our source material guiding today's deep dive comes directly from Dave Hartzell. He runs Hartzell's Heat and Air in Kingfisher, Oklahoma.
Yeah, and he is a NATE certified master HVAC technician, which is huge.
It really is. And he brings exactly 47 years in the trade. So, we are talking about 47 years of seeing this specific issue in the field. So let's just lay out the narrative here. We'll progress logically from simple user errors up to, crucial safety shutoffs.
I like that approach. It just makes sense.
So let's start with the easiest one, the 1-minute fix. What is the absolute first thing you should check?
Okay, the very first thing is your thermostat fan setting. You need to see if it's set to on or auto.
Okay, because if the fan switch is set to on, the blower is just running continuously, right? Even when the furnace isn't actively heating.
Right, exactly. So it just pushes room temperature air or even cool air through your vents. It makes it feel like the whole furnace is completely broken.
When really you just need to switch it to auto.
Yeah, switching it to auto ensures that the blower only runs when warm air is actually ready to be moved.
I mean, I have to push back a little here because it seems almost too simple. Like, having such a scary problem have such an easy fix. Running the fan on in winter is basically just running a ceiling fan in the dead of winter, right?
That is a perfect analogy. It just aggressively circulates cold air and gives you a wind chill effect in your own living room.
Okay, so that's the 1-minute fix. But let's say the fan is already set to auto. Why might you still feel cold air when it first turns on?
Well, this comes down to the virtue of patience. Furnaces, they do not produce hot air instantaneously.
Like starting a car engine on a freezing morning, you can't just blast the heater the second you turn the key.
Exactly like that. The engine block itself hasn't warmed up yet. In a furnace, there's a whole sequence. First, the burners light, then the heat exchanger warms up, and only then does the blower fan turn on.
So if you are hovering right over the vent the second it kicks on, the initial push of air is naturally going to be cool.
Yeah, it's just ambient air in the ducts being pushed out. You literally just need to give it a few minutes to see if it warms up.
Okay, so you've checked the settings, and you've waited several minutes, but it's still blowing cold. Now we move from normal operation to a physical obstruction, the air filter.
Yes, the clogged filter. This introduces a fascinating mechanical paradox. A dirty filter can cause the furnace to blow cold air because of a safety mechanism called the high limit switch.
So if a filter is choked with dust, the airflow basically just stops.
It stops dead. And then the heat builds up dangerously inside the unit because it has nowhere to go.
Wait, so the furnace is actually getting too hot, and its reaction to being too hot is to blast you with cold air?
I know, it sounds backwards, but it's a brilliant safety feature to prevent severe overheating. The high limit switch just completely shuts off the gas burners.
But the fan keeps running.
Yes, the fan keeps running to cool the internal system down, so that's why you get cold air at the vents. The system will actually keep trying, overheating, and shutting down in this infinite loop.
So it's essentially suffocating on its own heat.
Precisely. So you must take out the filter, and if you can't see light through it, change it immediately.
Got it. So you've checked the settings, you waited, and you changed the filter. This is the crucial pivot point in the deep dive, I think, where DIY ends and professional mechanics begin.
Definitely. This is the hands-off zone, because now we have to talk about the ignition sequence and the sensors.
Right, because the furnace relies on a very precise sequence to burn gas safely. And if that sequence fails, the system just locks out.
Exactly. Whether you have an older standing pilot light or a modern electronic igniter, the ones that spark or glow, there is a component called the flame sensor.
The flame sensor.
Yeah, it's this small part that confirms a fire is actually lit. If the igniter fails, or if a dirty flame sensor can't verify the flame, the furnace immediately shuts the gas off.
Just to prevent a massive buildup of unburned gas in your house.
Right. But again, the blower might keep pushing cold air to purge the cabinet.
So the flame sensor is basically the furnace's eyes. Like if it's blinded by dirt, it just assumes there's no fire and cuts the gas.
That is exactly what it does. And while you can safely look to see if the burners are lighting, cleaning those sensors, or, adjusting gas valves, that is strictly for trained technicians.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of gas, since we are dealing with controlled explosions in your house, we really need to talk about when to completely walk away.
Oh, for sure. Absolute safety protocols. If you ever smell that rotten egg odor of gas, all troubleshooting stops instantly.
Period. Do not poke around. Do not flip switches.
Right. You evacuate the house and call 911 or the gas company from a safe distance outside.
But there's a silent danger too, right? The heat exchanger.
Yes. The heat exchanger is a metal barrier that separates the clean, breathable air in your home from the toxic combustion exhaust.
Which normally goes safely out the flue.
Right. But if this metal cracks, carbon monoxide can enter your home. The fan blowing over a crack actually pushes air into the fire, disrupts the flame, and the safety switches shut the gas off. And again, you get cold air.
It's basically a breach in the quarantine zone between toxic exhaust and clean breathing air. This is why trained evaluations are just non-negotiable.
You literally cannot diagnose that safely on your own.
Wow, okay, so while older furnaces have their risks, modern high-efficiency units have a really unique water-based quirk that can cause this exact same cold air symptom.
This one throws people off all the time. High-efficiency furnaces create condensation that can actually clog and shut down the entire system.
Wait, a furnace makes water? I mean, I thought it just made fire and heat.
I know, it's wild physics. But these furnaces extract so much heat from the burning gas that the exhaust actually hits a dew point. It condenses into liquid water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and this water has to drain away through a small tube. If that drain line clogs with algae or debris, the water backs up. A safety switch detects the backup and locks the furnace out.
So it shuts off the burners, but the fan keeps blowing cold air.
Exactly. You might even see water pooling on the floor around the unit, but clearing that condensate lockout is absolutely a professional service call.
Right. You're mixing water and electrical sensors. Best to leave that alone. So let's summarize the game plan for you. First, set your fan to auto. Second, wait a few minutes for the startup sequence. Third, check for a clogged filter.
And you can check the breaker once and simply watch to see if the burner's light.
But if you still have cold air after that, or if you ever smell gas, you are out of your depth. And I want to leave you with a final perspective shift here.
It's an important one.
Yeah. When you are shivering in your home, it feels like your furnace is failing you. But in reality, whether it's a high-limit switch, a flame sensor, or a condensate lockout, that cold air is often proof that your furnace is highly intelligent.
Yes. It is actively choosing to shut down to protect your home from fire, gas leaks, or carbon monoxide.
Exactly. It's not breaking, it's protecting you.
That is the perfect way to look at it.
So if your house is still cold after the easy checks, don't tough it out. Contact Dave Hartzell at Hartzell's Heat and Air. They're located at 602 South Main in Kingfisher, Oklahoma.
They are a family-run business, NATE certified, with exactly 47 years in the trade.
And they boast 4.8 stars with over 300 Google reviews, which is just incredible. You can call them at 405-375-4822 or book online at hartzellsheetair.com. Thanks for joining our deep dive today, and stay warm out there.